Good morning, masterminds. Welcome to another day in the life of a driving instructor. Yeah. I'm so exhausted. I've been working so much. Today, I don't have too long of a work day. I'm going to be training a new instructor.
Henry! I'm going to say these words in front of Henry. I want a new or newer car. Been looking online at used cars even, and Jesus, so much money. Gotta get a car loan or something? Jesus. What's that noise? Henry, you're braking. Yeah. I just need better equipment. Okie dokie. This new hire will be the second one I've trained. I updated my training notes from July 2020, when I got trained, to give to this new hire, because, you know, I know what I'm doing now. I have the instructor that taught me. I improved his structure of the day. So I have a document, Workday Logistics, that teaches, you know, the protocols of what to do throughout the day. So, you know, at the beginning of the workday, you pick up your paperwork and stuff, keys, clean kit, you know, cleaning the car, how to gas up, paperwork, payment, stuff like that. This thicker document details my lesson plans, and I described what I teach in a previous work vlog, but I'm going to go over in detail what or how I structure my lessons now. So in the first lesson, I teach turning, specifically how to handle the wheel, where to hold the wheel, and the hand over hand technique. I teach traffic checking. So of course, on the first lesson, I need to get the student onto the road from the curb, so I teach smog. Signal, mirrors, over the shoulder, go. I teach yielding at a T intersection. I teach stop signs at four-way intersections. And, you know, sometimes you'll find three-way intersections with stop signs. Yeah, you know the whole mishmash. I teach left turns at a traffic light, right turns at a traffic light. I also teach the bike lane on the first lesson now. Well, I've always done that. I just updated my notes to properly reflect where I teach it. And then on the additional notes section, I have here teaching the trick to the speed limit. One lane is normally 30 miles per hour, two lanes 35, etc. If there's no center divider, then it's 25. Lane positioning, I teach the students how to stay in the center of his or her lane, keeping the line on the left 1 to 2 inches from the bottom left corner of the windshield, front windshield. And I also teach my students how to brake smoothly. The double press method, I call it. Where the first press, you slow down to almost a complete stop. You slightly release the brake very slowly. Then you press back in fully and slowly. Makes a smooth stop. Second lesson, take some time to review. And then I do lane changes using smog again. Center left turn lane, U-turns, backing up along a curb. parking in a parking lot, freeways. These next ones are optional. I'll teach parallel parking, the 3-point turn, and roundabouts. And then on the third lesson, I simulate the drive test for my students still. Yeah. And then I just have notes about senior citizen clients, taking students to the DMV. I have a lot of notable experiences to share, and senior citizens are part of those experiences. But I'll share them after the training because I need to prepare.
Later.
So, training went well today. We got through the first lesson and a little bit of the second lesson. I have to update my lesson plan because even I forget. And it can be more clear. So, like, I'm gonna add a part about adjusting seat and mirrors. The seat and mirrors. Your seat and mirrors. I'm gonna add notes about using the brake during turns so that turns are much more stable and controlled. I need to add more detail about left turns at a traffic light when there are 2 or more left turn lanes. The order of what to check when turning right at a traffic light. Bikes, pedestrians, cars. Always maintaining 3 feet minimum from bicyclists. I'll just put that in the additional notes area. And I'll add in that area as well tips about when cars are blocking your lane. So, passing. And then the center left turn lane. The technique I teach, I should have been more specific. Signal at 100 feet from the left turn. Enter between the yellow lines at 50 feet. And then yield. And I'll go through the notes some more and improve my grammar and clarification. I need to update the workday logistics document as well because I need to add a section that describes what to bring to work. So, snacks, water, car jumping kit, and a clipboard with compartments. Yeah. We're going to do another training session on April 1st. I fried her brain. I put so much into her head that she got exhausted. I'm exhausted from talking so much. The first instructor I taught she could use my previous version of these notes. And she only required, what was it, 3.5 hours? She felt confident. She could understand my notes. We just went over, different ways to convey this information to the students. We role played. Yeah. I'm tired. I'm sorry. Let me get to my notable experiences since the last work blog. I've got a lot. So on February 24th, I had my second worst practice test taker. She passed 1 of 5 practice tests. Others have failed all practice tests, but we did the usual 3 or 4 I make time for. On February 26th, I already did the vaccination blog, so yeah, I already told you then. I received that envelope. On the 27th of February, I had a student with ADD. He was shifting constantly, and it seemed like he would fall asleep, but he would be he'd shake his head just to pay attention. On March 2nd, I had a student that I rank as my second most skilled and confident student on the first lesson. And it was her only lesson. She's over 18 and had practiced quite a bit. She learned everything needed for the test quickly, but we couldn't go over parallel parking because of the time restraint. And it was her only lesson. On March 3rd, gosh, I had my oldest student yet, an 87-year-old Italian man. He lost his license because he had a stroke and temporarily lost vision from his left eye. He told me he could see 20/20. He was a decent driver, but I rank him as my second worst student because of his attitude. He still wants to drive because of ego. He's a man of wealth, so it's not surprising, right? Stubborn, not a good listener. I asked my boss if the old man could be replaced in my schedule the next day, but I didn't get a response. Yeah. Actually, noted on the next day, but after that student, I had my second worst practice test taker tell me that she passed her DMV test with 1 error. Yeah. She didn't leave me a review yet. Sad. She said she would. But another student of mine left me a 5-star Yelp review with nice comments. The instructor she mentioned took her to the DMV and she passed her test. On the 4th of March, I sent my boss my May schedule, and he surprised me with this text, and I quote, "No Biagio today." I mentioned his name, whoops. Yeah, Biagio. It's not bad, because I told Mia his name, and I told her that I kept singing that Attack on Titan song, Sasagio, and I use his name. Biagio, Biagio. And then I began my first lesson that day with a very funny 45-year-old black woman. She's something. She's always laughing and yeah. She made the lesson enjoyable, even though she's not the best of drivers. On March 5th, I had a 39-year-old Greek woman. I couldn't tell by her name that she is Greek. Evrediki. I don't know why. That just sounds African to me. But yeah, she's not that good of a driver either. She told me she's driven stick shift in Greece, but I don't know why she has so much trouble. Let's see. On the 6th and 7th, I really enjoyed my job because of this one student. He's a 23-year-old South Asian guy. I don't know if he's Indian, but, you know. I do think South Asians tend to be the worst drivers, but he was quite competent before I shared my knowledge, taught him. He's a very defensive driver, and that behavior is reflective of his reserved, gentle personality. I made him more confident and skilled. I particularly enjoyed that he asked a lot of questions. He'd ask to pull over often so that we can clarify what mistakes he made and how to fix them. I'd say he's my favorite student so far. He passed his test on March 12th. Yeah. I wished him luck on his car purchasing journey process. On March 8th, my boss asked me if I'd like to train a new hire, and yeah, I accepted the offer because we started training today. And then that day was the second time I took a student to the DMV for the drive test. Sadly, she failed immediately because her back tire dropped off the curb. I should have mentioned to her to stay away from the curb because the examiner stopped the car in the driveway before they exited and called me over to remove the dash cam that was recently installed on the driving school car. I could have mentioned to her. They did laugh. She was confident she would pass that second attempt, but sad. I felt bad for her, so I consoled her and offered to pay for half of the cost my driving school charges for DMV appointments. I made the offer also because, you know, she's far away from home, family. She's only in town for college, and she felt like a little sister to me. She's 21, Filipino, and a very interesting person. She declined and expressed gratitude. On March 9th, I learned I got a raise in my travel time pay rate, so it's up 40 cents to $15.65 per hour. On March 10th, excuse me, I had my earliest work start time in this job so far, 9 a.m. I took a student to a difficult DMV and he passed with 8 errors. On March 13th, what is this? What wording is this? Was the first time I contributed to a student breaking down. She didn't practice much since our first lesson together back in, what was it, January? So she was having trouble with content on the second lesson. I only asked questions in a disappointed tone. I wasn't cursing or being unprofessional. She was on the verge of crying, primarily because of being frustrated with herself. Yeah. And then later that day, I discovered one of my students is a Green Day fan. He asked me to sing a song so he could calm himself as we drove down a large hill. I started singing Wake Me Up When September Ends, and then he joined in. When we finished the song, he told me he's part of a theater group that's working on the American Idiot musical. Excuse me. We then listened and sang along to Jesus of Suburbia and Holiday as we headed to drop him off at home. Jesus. On March 18th, I took a student to the DMV. He failed due to a critical error. He made an unnecessary stop. So he was approaching his left turn at a traffic light, and he stopped on the green, figured out he had enough time to turn, so he went on the yellow. He just maintained his speed, he would have. And then later that day, I learned from my coworker that gave my worst student her first lesson years ago that the reason why she's such a horrible driver is she has PTSD from crashing her mom's car when she was like 10 or so. Or maybe she was the passenger, I don't remember exactly. But I still find it difficult to give her a break. And then on March 21st, yesterday. Was that yesterday? Yeah, that was yesterday. Today's the 22nd. Yeah, yesterday. I had a 78-year-old man suffering from Parkinson's disease as a student. He was shakier than the car. He failed his first supplemental driving test by hitting the curb while backing up and running red lights on non-island right turns. Red lights. I helped him with those critical errors and other mistakes marked on the DMV score sheet his wife gave to me. His wife reminds me of my grandma. She does all the talking for him. Very nice couple though. Anyway, he's still a decent driver. I mean, he didn't shake the car, even though he was shaking. But his timings are off. So he would struggle to activate the turn signals, thus causing him to miss traffic checking over the shoulders especially. He could still turn his head to check, and he could remember multiple directions and the route back to a starting point, so he's there mentally, it's just he's struggling physically. I wasn't really worried about crashing, but I was like, just felt sorry for him. He still wants to drive. What is it with these old people that still want to drive? They're a danger to society. In other news, I recently filed my 2020 taxes by myself. That is if you consider me inputting the information, because I used TurboTax to, you know, make it easy, the process. So, yeah. First time I've filed my taxes, and I'm pretty amazed by the amount of tax refund I'm getting. I got my refund from California State, what was it, 2 days ago? And I'm expecting my federal return tomorrow. It's a lot of money. Yeah, it's nice. Also, I got a stimulus check from my mom because she received money for me being a dependent on her 2019 taxes. Yeah, I was claimed as a dependent for 2019. But it's nice to be independent now. Pretty sure when I filed my 2020 taxes, I was told by TurboTax that I will qualify for my own stimulus check. Not complaining. But yeah, it's great. I'll be able to eliminate my credit card debt, so I'm happy. I'll continue to work hard. I get my next paycheck tomorrow, so I'll see more money. I'll put that into savings, bills, and investment. I recently opened up a Roth IRA and just a cash management account, and I do invest in cryptocurrency. So, getting my life together. Anyway, masterminds, I'm tired. I want to rest for a little bit before I update my notes and send them to my coworker I'm training. I may see you earlier, but expect me on April 12th. Alright? Alright. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, be smart for your heart. Good night.